Hey everybody, I'm going to try to install a Yeasu FTM 150R RASP, and I've got a 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 1-ton. Not a whole lot of information out there, so I thought I would give it a try. I'm terrible at making videos, so please excuse. I'm going to show what's in the box, and then that way you'll know exactly what it comes with. So in the box, we have the radio, okay, obviously. The microphone, you've seen this one in the videos, the new mic, newer mic. And we have the power cables. And that's it. A couple extra fuses, some mounting hardware. Does not come with the head separation cable. I thought all Yeasus came with that, so it does not. So if you need to order the separation cable when you buy it, then you need to do that, or you can use a Cat 5 or a Cat 6. So now that I'm in the truck, I have to figure out where exactly do I want to mount it. And I will go over some of the mounting options where I thought I wanted it and where it's not going to fit, and so I'll have to figure out something else. My first option was to put it in this compartment right here, and it fits, okay, but these brackets that they give us now, how they slide on and off, it's great, you know, if you want to take it, put it in another car, or you know, a go bag or something that's not with this vehicle. But when you put it in here, you can't slide it in the bracket or out of the bracket. There's not enough room. And whenever they did this system, there's not anywhere on the side to screw in an older style mount. So the only thing that I thought other than that would to build some kind of a surround for it so it doesn't slide and move around. And then you can drill some holes with a paddle bit in and out, put a couple of CPU fans in there so you could get some air movement so it doesn't overheat. But that's not going to work. Option 2 would be to mount it under the seat right here. Then you're right in front of that duct. So if you're needing the heat, I'm not sure if you want this blowing right on the end of your plugs. And this is really squishy, so there's not really anything to bite into. So if you moved it back, people's feet would end up going here, possibly, if you had any passengers, which I normally don't. So that's option 2. Option 3, these unzip. So you just pull out the zippers. You got to kind of dig them out a little bit. I'll unzip it and show you what that looks like. After you unzip the seat, there's this C-clamp. It goes onto here, and it's really hard to take apart. You have to get a screwdriver in there and kind of bend it down. But this is what it looks like back there. You've got springs, of course. And I don't know if you can see, there's a metal structure that goes down here for support. The small seat, the 40, like a 60/40, that one does not have that. It's just a couple of the springs. So if you want to mount it like this, put some plywood or something behind there, really think about it before you start tearing this apart. But there is some structure in the middle of the seat that you could use to bolt a piece of board to. Another option would just be to stick it down here. So maybe some Velcro or two-sided tape. There's lots of screw holes. I just don't know how deep to go and what I'm gonna hit when I get through there without taking all of this thick rubber mat off of here. Another option would be to stick it on this trim piece, except because this bracket slides out, it's gonna hit this right here and you won't be able to slide it up. So I'm gonna check. See, that's just not gonna be able to slide to get it out of the bracket or to put it in. So if you mounted your bracket there, you're not gonna be able to put it in. So I'm gonna see if I could get enough clearance to where instead of sliding it up, I can slide it down, and I'll see if that's an option and let you know. There's not enough room to slide it up or down right here. So I guess that's not an option. So this would be the easiest, just to probably Velcro it and hope it never comes off and gets in your pedal box or under your either one of your seats or the back seat. Put a board in there for support and go that route. So as I mentioned, I can't get it off the bracket if I put it here. So I looked at the underside of this and there's metal structure there, and this bracket should fit. And then when I close it, I should have enough clearance for it just to fit inside that cavity. So that's my number one option right now. And I didn't mention, but this is lockable. So if you ever felt like you need to lock it up, then you're gonna have the head exposed, but you could take that off, I suppose, but your main body is lockable. So these are just Velcroed together. That's a pretty good mounting spot there. Open them up. You got lots of metal to get to, and then as long as you put the bracket to where it'll completely clear by the time it gets to the latch and close without hitting anything, should be good. So I'm fixing to try to put that there with one screw and test it out. Well, I have it in place. I'm gonna show a couple of things I had to think about before I got it, but this will close and lock. This is not how I will have my antenna wire. I just wanted to check for clearance. I started with it trying to be down here because I could have this whole metal piece to screw the screws into. but the bracket wouldn't clear this area right here. It would hit it, so I had to move it up, but there's plenty of space up here to put it. And I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably at least a couple here. That should be plenty to hold it. And I ended up just using some self-tapping screws instead of drilling, and that's what I used right there. But I think this will be okay. Now one thing that I did have to do is originally I had it this way, and the unit would have sat with the fan down, but it was putting this at a pretty severe 90. This little key cutout was just barely, big enough. And so what I did is I flipped the bracket, and so now, as you saw, everything will go this way because these plugs are recessed, so nothing's gonna really affect that as much. But and then those wires are a little more pliable anyway. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna take this bracket off and show you exactly what that looks like. So I just wanted to show before I got going too far. If I measure from the bottom of that hole's about 5 inches. So maybe go 5 1/4, because it's a little tight when you disengage the radio from the bracket. And because you're going down, you don't have to worry about upward clearance, but there's more to bite into. So it should be pretty good. So I got that all screwed and mounted up, and I started looking at this trim piece to see what I'd be drilling a hole through if I was going to drill a hole for some air circulation. So it's kind of a pain to get it. What did I do with them? I use these over here, trim tabs, and just kind of started working it on the side, and got my flashlight to see what was going on, and then it looked like basically I just kind of pulled it up with some force. There's some wire down here that goes into the back of this key thing, and I don't see like a light bulb or anything, so I don't know what that is. I'm not going to disconnect it. There's airbag switches underneath this part, so I'm not going to mess with that stuff. But there's some air gaps in there. But originally I was going to drill through the front of this, but then I'm going to compromise that metal seat, so I'm probably just going to put a couple of vent holes in the bottom on the sides and perforate it some, and I think that'll probably do okay. And then if I have the little felt mat that goes in there, I either won't put it back in there or I'll just cut it for in the middle, but I probably won't even put it back in there. So that'll be okay. I drilled 6 holes, 3 down each side. I just used a step drill bit. It goes to looks like that says 7/8. I didn't go all the way to 7/8, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't go too far. I kind of eyeballed how much room I had, and instead of just having one long drill bit, I figured I could go at least halfway before I would hit anything. So time to clean that up. Okay, I really want to try to catch myself because I watch a lot of videos that skip steps, which are the most important steps. So I don't want to skip anything. So here in the corner, I went ahead and got my step bit and did the full length. And the reason why is because I'm going to come up under all this and I need somewhere to bring my antenna through. And not only do I need somewhere to bring my antenna through, I need somewhere to bring my separation cable / Cat 5, Cat 6 cable through there, and then my mic extender. So this all should be big enough, and if not, I'll drill another hole, or I'll get a Dremel and you know, just waller it out. So I'm going to go on the other side now, and I'm going to undo how I had my antenna and route it under my seat so it'll come up through there. And so while I'm talking about my antenna, I just have a lip mount. It's like a common or a diamond or whatever with the diamond antenna on it. And then I just ran it. You can see there's a hole right there, and I just zip tied it to give some slack. Zip tied it through these holes, went down and zip tied it there. And then basically I just ran it all back behind this stuff. And I'm gonna go under the truck and show you a good place that no one has talked about to get inside the vehicle, because you cannot take the back of the seat off. I mean, obviously you can, but you're gonna have to dig and find a video, and it is not worth it. It is so impossible to get it off. It's retarded. So I tried and I gave up. And so because I had a mag mount, and I also had this antenna, so I just used this one. And the way I got inside the truck is, I'll show you in a second. So if you're looking at the front driver area, and you go underneath the truck, what I'm thinking is the emergency brake cable, it goes back, and then it comes, and then right here is a grommet. Okay, so there's a motor mount, and then I took my floor mats up, and I saw where this white thing is a hard plastic, and it keeps that in the floor, and then all of around it is rubber. And so I just sliced a little X in it and put my antenna through it, and that's how I ran it up there. And it's been very good. And then to close that hole, I'll show you what I did. I use this stuff right here. I have trailers and things, and to just make sure my wires don't fray, I lather this stuff everywhere. So it's APOC, Eternaflash, all-weather rubberized flashing cement. I got it at Lowe's, number 365. And you just goop it on there and wear some gloves, because it gets everywhere on your fingers. It's hard to get off. But you can really smash it in there. It's very pliable, and then it'll harden. And it's made for keeping water out. So these panels, they just pry off. You just give them a pop. This is the inside of that grommet right there that I ran through. So you could put some goop on that if you wanted to on the inside, but it might smell. And then I just ran it. So now what I'm doing is, of course, you just run it up out of the way. And there's this plastic box, and it comes out of the way. Just kind of sits there. So I use that to go under. See how that comes off. And here's my antenna wire. So now I'm just gonna pull it out of the way and go backwards, and I'll show you how to do that. So basically, just pull it under your carpet or your floor mats, go under your rail. That's your airbag sensor. So went under that wire, and then there's a nice little cutout right here. You know, it just goes under your seat, okay? And so after that, I still have this open, and you can see my fingers there. So I'm just gonna go all the way under the seat and then push the antenna inside of the console, which will come out. Oops, I'll honk my horn. It'll come up into here, which I can then put through the hole with my. So it's pretty easy. You just want to make sure that your antenna is not going to hang up on anything or maybe be on a sharp piece of metal, so it won't chafe it. And comes in here. I'll give it some slack through here, and actually that's a little cut in there already, so I just put it in through that, and it should be pretty good. So now all I have to do is run some cables to my battery and bring power. So in that situation, you could go from the battery all the way down across the top here and follow that antenna and then come in the same hole. So that's an option. I believe there's a it just depends on how hard it is to get to back there. That rubber grommet, there's supposed to be a little nipple on it that you can cut and come in through the firewall. But I have a lot of wire, and I kind of thinking I'm just going to go follow the antenna and use the same route. And I can just use all that and tie them together, and it'll all be the same. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because that's going to be hard to get to, and the other's not. I already have the floor up and the trim up on that side anyway. By the way, I went by the dealership. Let me show you this real quick because it's important. Sorry. So you can take this off, okay? All of this right here, do not use. Don't put anything on it. This side is all for the ECU, and this side is for the TCU. And their shop foreman said don't mess with it at all for any reason. He did say that I could use this right here. It's very easy to get to. And this top post right there as a ground. He said that's no problem at all. And that should be easy to when you change your battery. And I do want to show you another thing he said that is a good ground that they give us on these trucks. And I'm gonna try to climb up here. Give me a sec. So if you see that white screw right there, you can sand that off, the paint off of it, and put a nut on it, and that's a good ground that they give us. But he said you could go straight to the battery and that won't be a problem at all. So that's for the positive and that's for the negative. Now you want to put some ring terminals on here, and then you want to make sure you put some kind of insulation on it as well, on that terminal. I've got some heat shrink that I'll be using. Next, what I've done is I fed the power cord through the hole. So all of the wires are coming through the one hole. And then they go down through, you can see right there, through there, under the seat. And down through there. I ran my Ethernet cable so far under this piece. It was a little tricky to push it through, but it came through. And whenever I get this part done, I'm going to try to run it right through there. And then I'll just come around here, plug it into the head unit. I did use this grommet right there that my antenna was coming through. So the wires are coming through there, down through there. Got them coming out through there. And then it's at your discretion how you want to run them. So to make sure there's plenty of slack, you know, for the suspension and stuff. So I ran it over the top of that and then back up through there. And then you can kind of come up right in this corner. And there's nothing really over there that's going to put the wires in a bind. And then I just came and kind of went around the wire loom. And then my negative and my positive will come up here. So at this point, I'm going to do a little wire management and probably put a few zip ties across there so there's no sagging. And I'm going to power the radio before I put all the final connectors on. But that's where I'm at, and that's how I got power from the battery to that grommet. And if anybody's wondering, I use my electric parking brake a lot, and I never have any issues. So that grommet there's like a hard washer that goes around it, and then the piece is attached to that. So all that extra rubber, as long as you seal it back up with that caulk, that rubberized sealant. All right, I'm going to show how I'm going to run this head like this, and just have this coming down behind here, and it comes out, runs down this rail and goes under the seat. So I use that suction head. Let me try on that. So I've got that where I want it. Now I'm just gonna, I ran test power and everything was working. So I just need to finish. So we got these wired up. Gave me some slack in case I needed to do anything or cut some wire. Zip tied that. I like to use these any color but black when I do things, so I'll know what I'm doing, or what I've done anyway. So I'll put the trim pieces back on. I get the head connected, and got a piece coming from Amazon that'll be magnetic. I'll stick this wherever. I have it on a mic extender, but that's it. And this is probably have a little more wires than I need, but I don't use that anyway, and I can lock it. So, but it's all put back together, and it shuts good, and you'll never know what's down there. So anyway, I was going to put the trim pieces on, and I hope this gives y'all some ideas on mounting them. Could go for any kind of radio for this particular truck. So anyway, I'll say 73. Y'all have a fantastic day.